Imagine, if you will, an island, not a sprawling landmass of sandy beaches and swaying palms, but a rocky outcrop, no larger than a football field, rising from the vast, shimmering expanse of Lake Victoria. Now, picture this tiny speck of land as home, not for a handful of souls, but for over 1,000 people. This is Migingo, a place that seems to defy all our established notions of space, of resources, and indeed, of human survival. Here, life is compressed into an intricate, bustling mosaic of human existence, a testament to our species' remarkable ability to adapt. This is a world unlike any other, a microcosm where every square inch is precious, every relationship is vital, and every day is a delicate balance. The very air seems to hum with the energy of 1,000 lives lived in impossibly close quarters. How does a community function, let alone thrive, under such extreme conditions? What are the unwritten rules, the unique customs, and the quiet triumphs that define life on this extraordinary island? It is a spectacle of human ingenuity, a living, breathing puzzle that challenges our understanding of community. Join me now as we embark on a journey to this remarkable place. We will uncover 15 unique facets of life found only on Migingo Island, exploring the intricate details that allow this community to endure. We will witness its rhythms, listen to its sounds, and meet the people who call it home. And be prepared, for the final detail we uncover might just make you reconsider everything you thought you understood about this remarkable, resilient, and utterly unique corner of our world. To set foot on Migingo is to surrender all sense of personal space. Here, the very concept of a private sanctuary dissolves into the communal whole. The island is a vertical and horizontal labyrinth of corrugated iron and timber, with homes stacked upon one another, their walls often shared, their doorways separated by mere inches. Life is lived in public, a constant unfolding performance where every argument, every laugh, every meal prepared is an open book. The air itself is thick with the presence of others, a constant, palpable reminder that you are but one small part of a much larger, densely woven organism. Adapting to this extreme compression is not a choice, it is the fundamental law of survival. Over 1,000 souls have learned to move with a unique, shared choreography, a dance of yielding and proceeding through passages so narrow that two people can barely pass. Children learn from birth to navigate this human maze, their games spilling out from one home to the next. The boundaries between family units blur, creating a superorganism where the island itself feels like a single, sprawling household. It is a remarkable feat of social engineering, born not of design, but of sheer necessity. The psychological pressure of such proximity is immense, yet it is met with a quiet, practiced tolerance. A glance through any open doorway reveals a life in progress, a mother tending to a child, a man mending a net, a family sharing a meal in a room that serves as bedroom, kitchen, and living space all at once. There is an unspoken agreement here, a collective understanding that to survive together, one must learn to live with and for one another. Privacy is not a right, but a fleeting, precious moment, stolen in the quiet of the pre-dawn or the dark of night. The lifeblood of Migingo is not found on its rocky soil, but in the deep, cool waters that surround it. The Nile tilapia, a fish of immense commercial value, is the currency, the sustenance, and the very reason for this island's existence. The entire community pulsates to the rhythm of the catch. The daily conversation is not of weather, but of the lake's mood, not of politics, but of the fluctuating price of fish. This single-minded focus has transformed a barren rock into a vital economic hub in the middle of Lake Victoria. Each day is a gamble against the vastness of the lake. Fishermen set out in their small wooden boats, often long before the sun graces the horizon, their hopes pinned on a successful haul. The work is arduous and fraught with challenges, unpredictable storms, the ever-present risk of engine failure, and the constant energy-sapping toil of pulling heavy nets from the depths. Their return is the island's most anticipated event, the moment when the day's fortune is revealed. The weight and quality of the catch will determine the prosperity of not just one family, but the entire interconnected web of island life. Upon their return, the shore erupts into a flurry of organized activity. The tilapia are weighed, sorted and sold to traders who have made the journey from the mainland. This transaction is the island's economic heart, the moment where the lake's bounty is converted into the cash needed for food, for fuel, for school fees, and for the simple necessities of life. Every resident, from the boat owner to the fishmonger to the woman who cooks for the fishermen, is a shareholder in this aquatic enterprise. The silver scales of the tilapia are, in a very real sense, the silver coins that sustain Migingo. While the men venture out onto the Great Lake, the women of Migingo remain, the silent, steady anchors of this floating world. Their lives are a tapestry of relentless, essential tasks, performed within the island's claustrophobic confines. From the first light of dawn, they are in motion, their work forming the quiet, humming engine that keeps the community running. They fetch water, prepare meals for their families and for the fishermen, and wash clothes in basins balanced precariously on the rocky shoreline, their hands stained by the lake's red sediment. Their domain is the narrow space between the iron-sheeted walls, the shared courtyards, and the smoky interiors of their homes. Here, they raise the island's next generation, teaching their children the unwritten rules of communal living amidst a constant lack of privacy. Their resilience is profound. They create homes out of tiny spaces, nurture families with limited resources, and maintain a sense of order in a world that seems perpetually on the brink of chaos. Their conversations, shared over cooking fires or while mending clothes, are the threads that bind the social fabric of the island. Yet their world is also one of profound limitation. With the island's economy so singularly focused on fishing, a traditionally male domain, opportunities for women are scarce. Their work, though vital, is often unpaid and unseen. A supporting role in the grand drama of the tilapia catch, they are the keepers of the rhythm, the guardians of the home, and the quiet pillars of a society built on a precarious rock. Their strength is not an adventure on the open water, but in the steadfast endurance required to make a life, day after day, in one of the most crowded places on Earth. In a world increasingly defined by constant connectivity, Migingo exists in a state of electrical twilight. There is no central power grid here, no silent, invisible current flowing into every home. Electricity is not a utility, it is a commodity, a precious and fleeting resource that must be generated, purchased, and carefully conserved. The island's power comes from a scattered chorus of privately owned petrol and diesel generators, their sputtering drone a familiar part of the soundscape. A mechanical heartbeat that signals a temporary reprieve from the darkness. For the vast majority of families, this power is an unaffordable luxury. Fuel is expensive, brought over from the mainland at a significant markup, and the cost of running a generator for even a few hours can be prohibitive. Consequently, electricity is rationed, used for specific, essential tasks. A barber might run his generator for a few hours to power his clippers, a small cinema might show a film, and a handful of businesses will charge mobile phones for a fee. The glow of a single light bulb in a home at night is a clear sign of relative prosperity. Life, therefore, is largely dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. As dusk settles over Lake Victoria, the island's interior plunges into a deep darkness, punctuated only by the flickering light of kerosene lamps and the occasional, lonely bulb. This lack of power shapes every aspect of evening life. Children must finish their homework before the light fades. Socializing happens in the dim glow of lanterns. The digital world, for most, remains a distant concept, accessible only through the battery life of a mobile phone, a lifeline that must be paid for, minute by minute, charge by charge. The pathways of Migingo are more than mere thoroughfares. They are the island's communal arteries, its living rooms, its workshops, and its marketplaces, all compressed into corridors barely wider than a person's shoulders. To walk here is to be immersed in the full, unvarnished flow of daily life. There is no distinction between public and private. The island's business spills out from every doorway, demanding that you navigate a constantly shifting obstacle course of human activity. One must step over nets being mended, sidestep a conversation, and duck under laundry strung from one wall to another. These narrow channels are where the community truly lives and breathes. Here, a barber sets up his chair, his customers waiting patiently against a wall. A few feet away, a woman sells vegetables from a small basin, her stall nothing more than a patch of ground. Children chase each other in a game of tag that weaves through the legs of adults, their laughter echoing off the iron sheets. It is in these passages that news is exchanged, disputes are settled, and friendships are forged. They are the stage upon which the island's social drama unfolds in real time. The space is fluid, its purpose changing with the hour. A path that served as a fisherman's workstation in the morning becomes a playground for children in the afternoon, and a social gathering spot in the evening. This constant overlap requires a deep instinctual understanding of shared space, a form of nonverbal communication that allows for the smooth, continuous flow of 1,000 people. Life on Migingo is a lesson in perpetual negotiation, where every step is a reminder that you are part of a dense, interconnected, and constantly moving human ecosystem. To experience Migingo is to be enveloped by its unique and unrelenting soundscape. There is no true silence here. The island hums with a constant, complex symphony of human and natural life, a background track that is as much a part of the environment as the rock and water. From the moment the sun rises, the air is filled with a tapestry of sounds. The murmur of countless conversations in Swahili, Luo and Luganda blends into a single, cohesive drone, punctuated by the laughter of children and the cries of vendors. This human chorus is layered with the sounds of industry and nature. The rhythmic slap of water against the rocky shore provides a steady baseline. Above it, the metallic clang of hammers on boat hulls, the whir of sewing machines mending nets, and the intermittent sputtering roar of a petrol generator add a percussive mechanical layer. The wind, sweeping across the vastness of Lake Victoria, whistles through the narrow gaps between the iron-sheeted shacks, carrying with it the scent of drying fish and cooking fires. Even the quietest moments are filled with sound. At night, the human element may recede, but the natural world takes over. The lapping of the waves becomes more pronounced, a gentle, rhythmic shushing against the shore. The chirping of crickets and the distant calls of nightbirds emerge from the darkness. This ever-present sound is not noise, it is information. It is the sound of a community at work, at play, at rest. It is the auditory signature of 1,000 lives being lived in unison, a constant, immersive reminder of the island's unceasing vitality. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues, Migingo undergoes a breathtaking transformation. The island, which is a dense cluster of metal and wood by day, becomes a beacon in the immense darkness of Lake Victoria. This isn't the uniform glow of a modern city, but rather a constellation of individual lights, each with its own story. The weak yellow flicker of kerosene lamps in homes stands in stark contrast to the brighter, whiter glare coming from the few establishments that can afford generator power. But, the true spectacle really begins out on the water. The fishing fleet, which rested during the day, now comes alive. Hundreds of small boats, each fitted with powerful pressure lamps, start to head out for the night's fishing grounds. These lamps, meant to attract the small fish that tilapia feed on, cast an intense, almost ethereal glow upon the water. As the fleet spreads across the lake, they create a mesmerizing, floating city of light, a surreal mirror of the stars above. From a distance, Migingo and its armada look like a single, sprawling, luminous creature drifting in the void. On the island itself, the departure of the boats brings a shift in atmosphere. The frenetic energy of the day fades, replaced by a different kind of bustle. Small eateries lit by a single bulb or lantern serve those who remain. Sometimes, the sounds of music drift from a small bar, and the alleyways, now cloaked in shadow, take on an air of mystery. Night on Migingo is a time of duality. a period of relative quiet and rest on land. While out on the water, the hunt for the silver bounty of the lake is just beginning beneath a canopy of artificial stars. In the densely packed architecture of Migingo, the idea of a private garden or yard is, honestly, an unimaginable luxury. Instead, life spills into the few small open spaces that exist between the clusters of homes. These shared courtyards, often no bigger than a single room, are really the communal heart of each small neighborhood. They're not designed for leisure but are intensely functional, multi-purpose arenas where the private chores of many families are performed in a public setting. Here, you notice, the boundaries of the home become pretty porous. A woman from one household might be washing clothes in a basin, while her neighbor, just a few feet away, mends a vast fishing net, its green mesh spread across the dusty ground, almost covering the entire space. Children from several families play together, their toys and games mixing with the tools and tasks of the adults. These courtyards are a constant hive of activity, a place for drying fish, repairing boat engines, cooking, and socializing, all happening at once in a chaotic yet harmonious ballet. This forced intimacy actually breeds a unique form of community. Resources, and even responsibilities are often shared. A mother might keep an eye on a neighbor's child, or a man might lend a hand with a particularly heavy repair. The courtyard acts as an external living room for a dozen families at once, a space where the joys, sorrows, and daily struggles of life aren't hidden behind closed doors, but are witnessed and shared by all. It's in these small, cluttered, and vital spaces that the true spirit of Migingo's communal existence is most vividly expressed. Survival on Migingo is, honestly, a masterclass in adaptation and resourcefulness. In an environment defined by scarcity, nothing is wasted, and everything has the potential for a second, or even third, life. The island is like a living museum of human ingenuity, where the residents have really become experts in the art of making do. Every object, from a discarded plastic container to a broken piece of machinery, is carefully assessed for its potential reuse. This isn't a choice driven by environmentalism, but by sheer economic and practical necessity. Space itself is the most precious and creatively repurposed resource. A narrow ledge on a rock face turns into a spot for drying laundry. The roof of a shack serves as storage for jerry cans and old nets. A boat's hull, too damaged to be seaworthy, gets upturned and transformed into a makeshift shelter or even a bench. The very structure of the island stands as a testament to this adaptive drive, with homes built in impossible locations, clinging to the rock at precarious angles, each one a solution to the fundamental problem of where to exist. This spirit of resourcefulness extends to every facet of life. A skilled mechanic can coax life back into a failing boat engine using salvaged parts and sheer willpower. A tailor can patch a pair of trousers until they're more patch than original fabric. Food is stretched, fuel is conserved, and water is used with careful consideration. The people of Migingo aren't just inhabitants of their environment, they're its co-creators, constantly modifying, repairing, and reimagining their world to fit their needs. It really proves that the most powerful tool for survival is the creative human mind. Despite the intense, suffocating proximity to 1,000 other people, life on Migingo is paradoxically defined by a profound sense of isolation. The island is a tiny, self-contained world, adrift in the immense watery wilderness of Lake Victoria. The mainland, though visible on a clear day, is a distant reality, a boat ride of several hours away. This physical separation creates a powerful psychological barrier, fostering a feeling of being both connected to a tight-knit community and cut off from the rest of the world. This isolation has practical and severe consequences. Access to services that are taken for granted elsewhere is a constant struggle. There is no hospital on Migingo, only a small, under-equipped clinic. A serious medical emergency requires a long and expensive boat journey, a race against time where the outcome is far from certain. Higher education, specialized goods, and official government services all exist across the water, making them difficult and costly to access. The islanders are, in many ways, on their own. This detachment from the mainland shapes the island's culture and worldview. A strong sense of self-reliance prevails, as does a degree of suspicion towards outsiders. News from the outside world arrives slowly, often distorted by rumor and repetition. The islanders' focus is necessarily inward, on the immediate concerns of the catch, the community, and survival. They are citizens of Migingo first and foremost, their lives and fates inextricably tied to this tiny rock and the vast, isolating expanse of water that surrounds it. The entire island of Migingo operates like a single complex machine, and its gears are timed to the movements of the fishing boats. The daily schedule of every man, woman, and child is dictated not by the clock on the wall, but by the departure and arrival of the fleet. This rhythm is the island's heartbeat, a predictable yet ever-vital pulse that governs the flow of money, food, and energy throughout the community. There are two main tides of activity: the pre-dawn exodus and the mid-morning return. Long before sunrise, the island begins to stir. The sputter of engines and the calls of fishermen echo in the darkness as the night fishing boats return with their haul of small silver cyprinids, or omena. This first arrival triggers a wave of activity as the fish are offloaded, sold, and laid out to dry. Then, as the sun climbs higher, a second, larger fleet prepares to depart for the day's tilapia hunt. This departure is a period of preparation, of mending nets, fueling engines, and gathering supplies. A communal effort to equip the hunters for their venture. The most crucial moment of the day is the return of the tilapia fleet in the late morning or early afternoon. The island holds its collective breath. The success of this single event determines the economic climate for the next 24 hours. A good catch means money flows, food is purchased, and a sense of prosperity, however temporary, settles over the community. A poor catch brings anxiety and belt-tightening. This daily cycle of departure and arrival, of hope and revelation, is the fundamental rhythm of life, a dance between human endeavor and the unpredictable generosity of the lake. On Migingo, childhood is not a period of sheltered play, separate from the world of adults. Instead, it is an apprenticeship in the art of island survival. From a very young age, children are woven into the fabric of daily life, their small hands and boundless energy contributing to the household and the community. They are not burdened with the heavy labor of the adults, but they are expected to play their part. Their chores are numerous and essential, fetching water from the lake, carrying messages through the winding alleys, and watching over their younger siblings. Their playground is the entire island, a chaotic and stimulating environment that doubles as their classroom. They learn the complex social rules of proximity and sharing, not from instruction, but from constant practice. They learn the names of different fish, the basics of mending a net, and the value of a good catch simply by observing and absorbing the world around them. A game of make-believe might involve pretending to weigh fish or pilot a boat, a clear reflection of the world they inhabit. This early integration into the community's rhythm shapes them profoundly. They develop a remarkable sense of independence and resourcefulness. While they have a school on the island, their most important lessons are learned outside its walls. They grow up with an intimate understanding of the delicate ecosystem, both social and economic, that sustains them. They are the future of Migingo, already well-versed in the challenges and resilience required to call this extraordinary, crowded rock their home. The most profound and pervasive truth of life on Migingo is the near-total absence of privacy. In a space so intensely compressed, the concept of a personal, unobserved moment is an almost unattainable luxury. The thin walls of corrugated iron do little to muffle sound. A conversation in one home is easily overheard in the next. A family's joys, sorrows, arguments, and moments of tenderness are rarely, if ever, truly private. Every action is, by default, a public performance. This lack of solitude shapes the very nature of human interaction. Residents develop a form of social blindness, a practiced ability to ignore the intimate details of their neighbors' lives that are unavoidably on display. To stare is a transgression. To grant others the illusion of privacy, even when none exists, is a fundamental and unspoken rule of coexistence. People learn to carve out psychological space where physical space is impossible, finding solitude not in being alone, but in being ignored. Yet, the strain is ever present. There is no place to retreat after a disagreement, no quiet corner to process difficult news, no sanctuary from the constant, watchful eyes of the community. Every resident is perpetually on stage, their life unfolding for all to see. This reality fosters an intense community bond, but it also comes at a cost. The individual can feel subsumed by the collective, their personal identity secondary to their role within the larger island organism. On Migingo, to be seen is to exist, and you are always, always seen. Beneath the vibrant, bustling surface of Migingo lies a fragile and precarious existence. Stability, both economic and social, is not a given, but a daily struggle. The island's entire economy is balanced on the silver scales of the tilapia, a resource that is finite and subject to the whims of nature and market forces. A few days of bad weather, a drop in fish populations, or a fall in market prices can send shockwaves through the entire community, threatening the delicate financial ecosystem. Every family is engaged in a constant, careful calculus of survival. Income from a good catch must be meticulously managed, stretched to cover not only immediate needs like food and fuel, but also saved for inevitable emergencies. A broken engine, a medical issue, or a torn net. There is very little safety net. Debt is common, with fishermen often owing money to boat owners or traders, trapping them in a cycle of dependency. The dream is not one of great wealth, but of simple stability, to have enough to provide for one's family and to weather the next storm. This economic fragility underpins the social order. Disputes, often over money, fishing rights, or resources, can flare up quickly in such a high-pressure environment. The community has its own informal methods of justice and mediation, essential for maintaining peace when official channels are distant and slow. The struggle for stability is a collective one, a constant effort to maintain equilibrium on a foundation that is as shifting and unpredictable as the waters of the lake itself. When all is said and done, the most unique and remarkable thing to be found on Migingo Island is not its size, its density, or its reliance on fish. It is the raw, indomitable spirit of its people. This is a community that has been forged in the crucible of extreme constraint. A place that by all logic should not be able to function, yet it does. It thrives. This is a testament to the extraordinary resilience and ingenuity that lies at the core of the human species. Against all odds, the residents of Migingo have created a complex, functioning society from scratch, on a barren rock in the middle of a vast lake. They have developed their own rules, their own economy, and their own unique culture of interdependence. They have learned to share space, resources, and their very lives in a way that most of us can barely comprehend. They have transformed a geographical anomaly into a home, a vibrant, pulsating center of human life. This is more than just survival. It is a form of creation. It is the act of building a world where none existed, of finding opportunity in limitation, and of forging community out of necessity. The people of Migingo are not victims of their circumstances, they are masters of adaptation. Their lives, lived in such close and constant contact, are a powerful reminder that our greatest strength as a species has always been our ability to cooperate, to innovate, and to endure, together. As we draw away from its shores, Migingo remains, a speck of intense life in the vast blue of Lake Victoria. We have witnessed its rhythms, explored its narrow passageways, and glimpsed the incredible resilience of its people. Now take a moment to reflect. Imagine yourself there, not as a visitor, but as a resident. Picture waking up to the sounds of 1,000 neighbors, navigating the crowded paths, and living a life where every action is a public affair. What would it truly be like to call this remarkable, challenging place home? The spirit of Migingo is a powerful testament to human adaptability, but it also forces us to confront our own needs and dependencies. The things we take for granted, privacy, space, silence, unlimited electricity, are rare and precious commodities here. The challenges are immense, yet so is the sense of community. It prompts a fascinating question about what we truly need to not just survive, but to live a meaningful life. We invite you to ponder this as you consider the world you've just seen. We are left with a final thought to share in the comments below. If you had to stay on Migingo for a month, what would be the hardest thing for you to adapt to? Would it be the lack of privacy, the limited space, the reliance on a single economy, or something else entirely? Your reflections are part of this story, and we look forward to reading your thoughts on this extraordinary world in miniature. Thank you for joining us on this journey.